YouTube, what is up? I thought we'd do a little race report video. This is what a Rzr looks like after 250 hard miles of racing. It was insane, guys. I think I've done, I've gone on long rides, but when you're racing, when you have that level of mental concentration with the physical and just like the endurance, it's a crazy, dude. 250 miles. 6 hours straight. I didn't drink anything. I didn't take a piss. It was gnarly. So I might have to hit the gym for the next one. That was a freaking crazy race. The Rzr is a freaking mess. I got to clean it all up. It was a freaking blast. Let's talk about the race. So we got to pre-run the race on Friday, which was pretty cool. Ended up being like 240 mile race, roughly. So I did it was a 35 mile loop, and I got to test run it, like I said, on Friday. And what I did is I took I think they had a GPS file, but I never got it uploaded onto my lead nav. So what I did is I actually, on the pre-run, I marked the trail with the ride command, and honestly, it worked so good. Man, the satellite sensor in the ride command is awesome. Like, I was right on the line that I had marked, and I knew exactly when the turns were coming up, and I was able to navigate it off of that if I ever needed it. I would switch back and forth. I had like the RPM, the speedo display up a lot of the time, but if I was ever kind of wondering on like a fast section where the corner was, I could throw that up, and it was really cool. So yeah, we pre-ran on Friday, got some sleep. Race started at 9 o'clock on Saturday. I think there was about, I want to say there was 8 to 10 people in Pro UTV. This is the first time I've entered a race. The local race is basically my Best in the Desert sportsman class will qualify for a local race like /pro. There were some cool rigs there, some really nice rigs there, some really cool people. It was super fun. So I drew number 3, so I was third off the line. I had a pretty sweet Yamaha in front of me, and I had the Rzr that I raced against in the UTV World Champs in front of him. So it was pretty sweet. Right off the bat, they section us out about 1 minute intervals. There wasn't a lot of places to pass. It was pretty much a single track road, and it's pretty gnarly on the sides of the road. So you had to kind of catch up to somebody and wait for the right opportunity, or if you got lucky, they'd pull over and you'd get by them. I showed you guys, that was the first lap that I showed you guys. So sorry, there wasn't a ton of action. We were all spaced out. I was starting to catch the Yamaha a little bit. When I went to the pits on lap 2, I was about 30 seconds behind him. So I was gaining a little bit of ground, but eventually he actually broke. So I got past him, and the guy in the Rzr, he broke like first lap, had some tire and wheel problem. Everybody had tire and wheel, ball joint problems, big time. So Tensor tires. One thing I'll say, guys, if you're gonna race, like, I'm sorry, but don't use these little these no-name brand tires. They're not gonna hold up in like hardcore desert racing. I'd be like a Maxxis, a BF Goodrich, a Tensor. Like, you've got to have one of these brands that's really put some tech into these tires. So just a piece of advice, use a good tire. It sucks. I like to run my tire pressure lower than I run it in the race. In the race, I run it about 19 pounds. And it's just to protect the tire from getting a flat. But it's a lot more comfortable if you run them around 8 to 10 pounds, but it's too risky. So like I said, the course was fast. You had 2 sections that were really rocky, and you had to slow it down. If you didn't slow it down, you're gonna break a wheel, pop a tire, or screw up a ball joint. So, it is a 240 mile endurance race, and I definitely wanted to try to finish the race. So things were going good. First lap, I was flying. Came in second lap, still doing really good. I think I was in first place. On the 4th lap, I was in first place in Pro UTV, but I had to stop 3 times for gas, which kind of killed me. And when I came in on the end of the 4th lap, I didn't realize it, but when I stopped for gas, a guy passed me, and I never caught him. I thought I did. Everybody told me I was in first, and I ended up being in second place. So finished the race in second place. I was a little bummed. Like I crossed the finish line. I thought I was in first. I did like a donut. I was like all happy, and then they told me I was in second. So, but still a great race. I've made progress each race that I've done, and so it's been pretty awesome. So I was stoked. And the guy that got first was hauling ass. He did an awesome job. He had an RZR2. It was prepped really well. I saw it the night before, and I was like telling my buddies that I was worried about that guy because I could just tell that he had a nice rig and he had it prepped right. So yeah, the race was fun. I got bumped by like a little trophy truck, which was hilarious. I didn't hear him back there. I guess he's back there for a while. Freaking bumped me. I had to move. And then I caught back up to him. I thought about bumping him, and then I backed off. I actually bumped a little Class 9 car, which was pretty funny. It's kind of the same thing. I was behind him for like 5 minutes, and he just didn't know. So I tried to do it super light and just let him know I was back there and get past him because, like I said, it was super dusty, and it was really hard to get by anybody. So yeah, 7 freaking laps. Average lap took about 50 minutes. It took me almost 6 hours of driving. I didn't have a single problem, guys. I used the same belt that I used in the last race. I didn't even change it. My Rzr, I've heard of other people having problems. My Rzr has been freaking flawless. I prepped it pretty good before I left, but no tire wheel problems, no belt problems, no motor problems, no nothing. The thing was unbelievable. And I was like damn near one of the only ones that didn't have a problem with their rig. Everybody was popping tires, ball joints. I had it on the main channel. So been super stoked with, let's talk about the Rzr. So that's what happened in the race. And let's talk about the Rzr and how it's held up. It's done so good. I can't believe how dirty it is. It's crazy. Oh yeah, in the race. So another thing that was awesome is that it was a really good mix of terrain. So on the super hard stuff, I would throw the dynamic suspension into soft. It was freaking rad. So on the super rocky stuff, I'd throw in a soft to make it a little more comfortable. And then we had, if you saw the video, we had a lot of just like straight up smooth, fast roads. I'd throw it into firm and just drift those corners. It was so cool to use the dynamic. So it was like kind of in between. I had it in sport, super rough. I threw it in soft, and the super hard pack, I threw it in firm and just had tons of control on the road. It was badass. It was pretty crazy managing everything. I'm managing my horn, my dynamic suspension, my radio, just cleaning the cameras, and I'm driving. So it was pretty, and I'm looking at the GPS map. So it was pretty gnarly driving by myself, but I enjoyed it. I just kind of jammed out and just ripped. So it was super fun. Let's talk about the Rzr. So yeah, no problems with the Rzr. I can't believe how dirty she is. I got to go do some serious cleaning and prep and get ready for the next ride. But I couldn't be happier with this thing. It has just been freaking amazing. Definitely, if you're gonna race a Rzr, I'm really happy with the Super ATV axles. They have been bulletproof since I put them on. I'm really happy with the wheel and tire package that I chose. The tenders are really tough and they're light, so they don't screw with your clutching. And then the Method wheels obviously they're badass wheels. My Cognito arms have been really cool. I've only had those a couple races, and man, they're just tough. This was like just brutal on ball joints. And with these Cognitos, if you're gonna spend the money on an aftermarket arm set, make sure it's got a uniball setup. The uniball it's a badass ball joint. So it's the way to go on ball joints. They're easy to service, easy to change. So I've been really happy with the Cognito setup on this thing. I put some money in there, but honestly, I'm super impressed. Like, I haven't touched the clutching. I haven't touched any of the drive lines yet. They got 3,000 miles on them. The front diff is freaking bulletproof. I'm so impressed with the quality of the Rzr. It's been freaking rad. It's stock rear radius arms. The suspension, let's talk about suspension. So Matt at Desert Speed hooked me up. I love the suspension. So this really made a difference. I have a decent amount of ride height in the Turbo S, and it really helped on these rocky sections having that much clearance to just be able to go right over the top of the rocks. So really stoked on my suspension. We're gonna fine tune it. Matt's gonna go ride with me. We're gonna do a little fine tuning on the rebound and a couple things, but overall it's like 90% there, and I could not be happier with the suspension. So you need any cool suspension, look up Matt at Desert Speed. He's a cool dude, does awesome work with the suspension. So man, I'm just stoked on this thing. I've got a couple things I want to change on it. My camera's failed on me again, which sucks. So I only got that hour of riding. I'm gonna fix that. It's the power to them, so it's hard to get, man, to get good audio and video for freaking 6 hours straight, or like a Baja 1000 or something. It's tough, but I'm figuring it out, and I want to keep trying to capture some fun video for you guys. One thing I'm gonna change is, as much as it's like been a decent pumper, that rugged radio pumper, the problem with it is it's basically like a computer, like a PC fan. And it just, I was stuck in dust. I mean, we were just sucking dust the whole day, as you can see by this thing. And eventually the filter just gets so clogged that you start to lose that air pressure. And it kind of sucks. So S&B, the people that make the particle separator for your filter, this guy, they made an air pumper for a helmet air pumper. So I'm going to switch that out because it just is going to work better. So there'll be a video of that coming soon with the S&B. I love Rugged. They make good stuff, and it's one of the better pumpers, but the S&B is better. It doesn't use a filter, has a particle separator, so you never lose that pressure. Keep constant airflow into your helmet. So that's something I want to change. But all in all, man, I'm really glad that I ended up building the Rzr and using it as my race machine, because it's just tough. It's so tough to go 250 miles and not have a single problem. And I've done some light work to this thing, but it's not like that crazy. So anyways, it was a freaking blast. Thanks again for 15,000 subs, guys. And I can't wait to get out and ride. We got another race here in like a month, which is going to be a fun one. It's called Knowles. It's with the Bonneville Off-Road Racing Association. So it's a really fun race. It's out in the salt flats. That's going to be a blast. So through this week, I'll prep it. I'll probably do a video on the pumper and a few other things. But yeah, that's the report. It was a freaking blast. I was exhausted. I got mad respect for dudes that do 500 or 1,000 miles in one stint. That's like unbelievable. You do 500 miles in a Baja 500. I mean, a trophy truck's probably more comfortable, than a Rzr. So I won't give them it's crazy though, man. The amount of concentration and physical effort that it takes to go 12 hours, 15 hours straight is insane. So I just did 6 hours and it was legit. So yeah, anyways, it was super fun. If you guys have any questions about the Rzr or the race, let me know. I appreciate you guys. Again, thanks again for all the support on YouTube, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.